We're getting closer and closer to our next major event now, and what better way to get into the spirit with a spicy little Copa Elite 6 tournament and a new champion to be crowned, along with some interesting games in the penultimate week of the European League. Join me for both as we break down the best moments from week 6 of stage 3. Hit the like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more similar content, and now, let's get straight into it. Starting off with the Copa Elite 6, and FaZe topped off a very strong domestic season in 2021, taking the third and final Copa Elite 6 of the year, meaning that all three of the traditional top 3 teams in LATAM had each taken one of the 3 Copa Elite 6s of the season: Liquid, Ninjas in Pyjamas and FaZe, a testament to the level of competition in Brazil. But let's focus on this tournament for now. FaZe had continued to fight with Liquid for that accumulative top spot in Brazil this year, finishing with equal points but narrowly coming second due to technicalities. So this Copa Elite 6 was a chance to separate themselves from Liquid and the rest of the region, and also guarantee themselves a tournament win this season if things don't go well for them at the November major. They had a nearly perfect group run, only dropping a map to Team 1, the same team they would go on to face in the finals, beating 9Z, Phoenix and NiP convincingly in Group B. As they transitioned to the playoffs, honestly they had the easier tie, as they dispatched Malvinas 2-0, whilst NiP and Liquid were set to face each other, with one of them guaranteed to go home. This made the path easier to the finals, but was still no walk in the park, as next up they were set to face Furia in the semis, after they themselves had guaranteed a semi-final spot after topping Group A. This was another dominant performance for FaZe, as they sweeped Furia 2-0, relatively surprising considering how strong Furia have been in these last few weeks. FaZe had to fight on that second map to earn it, going to max overtime and winning 8-7 on Villa. And talking of topping the group, Team 1 had done the same as Furia, topping Group B and then taking down Ninjas in Pyjamas 2-0 in the semis, as our most recent major winners were trying to replicate what NiP did and take back-to-back tournaments, along with attempting to go one step further than they had every stage in the Copa Elite 6, after a third place finish in stage 1 and a second place finish in stage 2, now hoping to win it all in this third and final Copa Elite 6. Unfortunately for Team 1, it wasn't to be, as FaZe had no success this season in the Copa Elite 6, but completed the redemption arc in this third and final Copa Elite 6 and Grand Final, winning the best of 3 2-1. Clubhouse was first on the docket, and FaZe started in the right manner, winning 7-2, as despite Team 1 starting decently and keeping pace to go 2-2 in the scoreline with FaZe adjusted very well to their problems, securing every single following round in the game, bouncing back to a 4-2 half after Cyber started heating up on Sledge with the entry or roam clear kills, as FaZe went on to win easily 7-2 on defense with good time wasted or aggression roaming around the map, allowing the players on site to hold easy angles to shut out the rounds, as FaZe were now 1-0 up in the series. Thankfully for everyone watching though, the final didn't go on to be a one-sided sweep, as Team 1 fought back with a narrow 8-6 victory on FaZe's map, Map 2 of Oregon. It was nice to see Team 1 have enough in the tank after the rough loss on their own map on Map 1, especially considering that FaZe still showed why they had picked Oregon as their map. It wasn't like Clubhouse where one team was being completely shut down on their own map, as FaZe here still gave a great account of themselves, and at one point were up 5-2. Needing only 2 rounds of the next 4 to take the whole series in a 2-0 fashion. Team 1 struggled in their first half on attack, once again struggling to get a lock on where and what the FaZe defenders were planning to do each round. Team 1 sometimes thinking the coast was clear to pull off a play, and being punished from a position or vertical they weren't expecting, or at least weren't designating someone to hold, as FaZe once again sat at a 4-2 half, but this time it being much more workable for Team 1, who could use those 2 rounds as a platform as they headed onto their defense. And despite losing another round and being down 2-5 after a Lagonis team kill, they managed to brush themselves off and claw the game all the way back to 6-6, only dropping 1 round in 5, form that they really needed and was translated into a hard-fought 2 OT rounds, as Lagonis redeemed himself after his team kill earlier in the game, and a final round where Team 1 attacked Laundry excellently, finding 2 separate nade kills, as FaZe were unable to bring the man count back and were consequently shut out the map 8-6. This series was now set perfectly for the third and final map, as I would say no team had a significant advantage. Yes, Team 1 had just won a hard-fought map in overtime to build momentum for map 3, but throughout the series, FaZe had been more dominant overall, rolling Team 1 on their own map 7-2, and then leading for the majority of their own map, keeping it close to an eventual loss 6-8 in overtime. So with the series being all square at 1-1, it really did feel like a glorified best of 1 as we headed to Villa where the winner would be crowned. And FaZe were the ones to conquer Italy as they made Villa into their own home, winning the third map 7-4 and therefore the whole series 2-1, being our final Copa Elite 6 champions of the season. And as mentioned, heading into this final map, it felt like an even matchup and went on to be in the first half as both teams broke even at 3-3. FaZe starting strong with 3 unanswered defensive rounds, which was finally responded to by Team 1, who took 3 of their own, salvaging a really solid 3-3 half on Villa, something that I'm sure would have given them great belief to go on and win the series in their defensive second half. But I've seen some good attacking halves from FaZe this stage, and some bad ones if I'm being honest, especially the last time these two played in stage 3 on Bank where FaZe won 8-7, so 3-3 was more than enough for FaZe to work with, even if it was on a strong map like Villa for Team 1. And Souls and Astro shone in this half, 2 players that have been so valuable for FaZe this stage on both ends of the spectrum, Astro doing well with Sophia on entry and Souls finding those important high pressure kills around the site. Souls clutched the 1v1 post plant as FaZe now sat at championship point, and although Team 1 were able to find one, outside of this round and the following one, they had really struggled on defense to not give up the opening pick, and although as mentioned going on to find it in the next round, that wasn't the only thing that Team 1 were lacking, as the gunplay for FaZe was also dominant, and the other previously mentioned star player of this map, Astro, found a 4k in round 11 at around 50 HP, as FaZe somehow managed to drag back a 3v5 and later on in the round a 2v4, mainly thanks to Astro, as KDS found himself in a similar situation to Lagonis in the Mexico Major Finals, a 1v2 defense on the kitchen dining bomb site, but was unable to replicate Lagonis' success against Team Empire, as FaZe shut him down and won 7-4, taking Stage 3's Copa Elite 6 for their own. I'm sure that final round was painful for Team 1, as it was theirs to lose and would have put them at 5-6, a single round away from overtime and the dream still being alive. But I think you have to give credit to FaZe, as I mentioned before, FaZe have been really clutch at different stages this season. One of the best examples for me being that crazy Maxo team matchup they had against Team Liquid this stage on Chalet, where Cameraman clutched their game from the jaws of defeat. So regardless of having the man advantage or advantageous map control for the opposition, you can never count out players like Souls from saving a round, and when a player like Astro or Cyber is still up and alive, even with 50 HP, the round isn't won yet. So congrats to FaZe, and I'm sure not only will this win feel very sweet after picking up a new roster at the start of this season and working on a new project, but should also put them in a great mindset heading into the November Major. As looking at it factually, almost every team that has reached the finals of the Copa Elite 6 has went on to have a great major run. Liquid and MIBR in the first Copa Elite 6 final, both securing top 3 at SI, along with Team 1 and NIP in Stage 2, where Team 1 went on to win the following August Major. So will FaZe, and Team 1 for that matter, be able to replicate that once again? I guess we'll have to see soon. And over to Europe, in our third classic matchup between Empire and G2 of the 2021 season, Empire had their last laugh as they dismantled G2 7-2. Clubhouse was our destination, and both these teams have shown their potential on this map throughout the year, but equally it hasn't been smooth sailing every time they've come here, so I was interested to see who would be more on their A game in this match. And it was Empire's day here, as players like Dan and Joystick were much more clinical with hitting their shots and positioning, as Empire did something they've been great at this stage, having the composure to still win out rounds on attack when there isn't much time left on the clock and multiple anchors still to kill. And the trend continued for Empire all the way to a great 5-1 half for the Russians. G2 did manage to compose themselves in their first attacking round and looked to start the comeback, but a combination of G2's struggles on attack this stage, along with Empire doing well with the opening pick on defense and once again playing well in the late round with their gunplay, was too much for G2 to handle, Empire putting down early aggression in the last round as they won 7-2. A game of two stories here, as honestly I think these teams are in a different space mentally to each other at the moment. The 5 Empire players have a wind in their sails after their recent results domestically and internationally, whilst G2 seem to still be trying to find out how to fit the outfit these newest 5 players make up. And finally, Vitality took on Secret as they were still looking to try lock in a major spot and turn a solid season into something more that allowed them a chance to have a go at winning an event, and they at least kept the dream alive with an overtime 8-6 win. Just like our last game mentioned, these teams are in a different space mentally to each other right now. Vitality had a lot to play for, while Secret couldn't avoid relegation playoffs, and you could see this from the body language of both teams between rounds. Vitality looking pumped up but in the zone, while Secret seemed to be relaxed and smiling regardless of the score. And honestly, this kind of played in Secret's favour, at least in regulation, because they were playing with a confidence knowing that they can try some interesting things out, and it frustrated Vitality as no type of prep or VOD review can really prepare you for that type of sporadic off-the-wall playstyle. You just have to be alert and ready for the unexpected. And Vitality struggled with that as Secret went up 4-2, and it continued to flourish on defense as they found another to make it 5. Vitality now calling a timeout to slow the breaks before a big blow is inflicted to their top 4 hopes. They bounced back with one round with a better grip on the Secret aggression, but it was answered by another Secret round to put them at 6-3. The pressure was really on for Vitality now, with their backs against the wall, and honestly, to have success at many international events, you need to be able to hold on in situations like this. So it was really nice to see that they were able to adjust to everything that had gone against them so far in the game, as Vitality flipped the momentum in their favour, taking 3 difficult back-to-back rounds to secure overtime. And just like in many of those international events where a team's back is against the wall and they start picking up rounds, the train can't be derailed once it gets going, as Vitality went on to win both rounds in overtime, and with no timeout left, Secret couldn't stop it, making it 5 rounds in a row for Vitality, as Bibu ended his game at 16 kills with a 3k, mopping up the push from Freezer, as Vitality won 8-6. And that's all for the vid today. Stay tuned for next week's vid as we round up the final week of NAL and EUL now that the BR6 is all said and done. Hit the like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content, and thanks for all the love as usual, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.